All right, welcome back to another episode of Designing the Best You. Before we get started, as always, check the show notes for any links to book a call, join our weekly newsletter, and be a part of the community. Oh, and there's also links for nervous system regulation tools in there, so check that out for sure. All right, let's dive in. Today's episode is going to be a fun one. Aren't they all? Well, let me ask you something. It's something I want you to ponder, okay? So take a moment, ponder it, all right? Are you feeling drained and distant from a job or career that you once loved? Is it the environment, the boss, the actual job, or is it something going on inside of you? Today, we are going to unravel the burnout cycle, dissecting burnout symptoms and root causes. And you all know, if you've been listening for a while, we talk about root causes to things all the time, okay? So from the emotional toll of a misaligned career to the scars of unresolved trauma, okay? Yes, they do all get intertwined. So I want this episode to resonate with you. It's not just a casual chat. It's meant to recognize your red flags, okay? We all have them, so please don't deny the truth. We all have them. But I want you to understand those, and I want to present a roadmap to help reignite your passion for work. We were actually designed biblically to work, okay? And everyone's got their different capacity, whether it's at home, whether it's in a career, whether it's in a business, okay? We all have that different capacity, but I want to ignite that passion for you again to work and not be drained all the time or burned out, okay? All right, many of you guys, as I mentioned on last week's episode, weighed in on my latest LinkedIn poll and told me you have little to no energy and you're dealing with brain fog and burned the freak out. And as someone who has worked herself into overdrive and been hospitalized many times over the years, I can relate. So this is incredibly important to me to make sure that you guys don't fall into the same traps that I did, okay? So I have supported many professionals over the years as they've struggled with burnout, both while I was in corporate prior to COVID, during COVID as I was coaching, and now the after effects of it. We all know there's a lot of after effects of it, and this is definitely one of them, okay? As companies are downsizing, people are having more work put on them than ever. This is so incredibly important to understand. So much of what we've uncovered over the years as the root causes of burnout have been with limiting beliefs that professionals like yourself have been carrying from job to job to job, and it's affected physical and emotional and mental health. And it's really keeping you stuck and potentially misaligned in your job and in your career. Sorry, not sorry. All right. And if this sounds like you, I am so glad you are listening to today's episode. I'm here to be real with you. I always am. So take it or leave it, but I bring reality to life, okay? So let's start with defining burnout. It is really, how do I want to put it? Guys, I don't like the dictionary definitions of some things, but like what it is it's the combination of the physical, of the mental, of the emotional exhaustion, and it's caused by excessive and prolonged stress, okay? And you're like, duh, like everyone's burned out if that's a definition. But here's the thing, is the real issue with burnout is when you're in that constant survival mode, what we've talked about over all these past year, okay? That constant activation of your sympathetic nervous system. So important to understand, guys, okay? Don't ignore it. God created specific things in us as warning signs, okay? So if you have chronic fatigue, if you feel detached from your career, if you're feeling ineffective and not getting quality rest, guys, not just sleep, okay? There is a big difference between the two. What's going to happen is you're going to be basically not ending that cycle. You're just going to keep looping it. Loop, and it becomes such a draining experience. If you're in it right now or if you've ever experienced it, it's incredibly draining and it's not fun, okay? Not fun. All you Enneagram 7s, you're like, no, get me out, all right? Your boss notices your productivity declines, your efficacy reduces, you have physical symptoms like gut issues, adrenal fatigue, irritability, thyroid issues, heart issues, you become diabetic, you're getting sick a lot. Gosh, the list could go on and on and on with all that stuff, okay? And burnout, it can be for many reasons, okay? So, and the lists that I provide are not exhaustive lists, but here's the thing, misaligned career can be a part of burnout, okay? Because we are working in a job that's not leveraging our strengths. And I'm not saying every single strength is going to be like you're going to be checking the box in your career, okay? But your main strengths, okay, right? Go to do your strength finders, okay? Do your assessments, right? You're not leveraging your strengths and you're being criticized. You're not valued. You feel like you're not good enough, okay? It's like this freaking hamster wheel, right? And a lot of it's in our brain. Sorry, okay? A lot of it comes from unresolved trauma or from not healing, right? And we've talked about this on previous episodes, so please go back and listen to those. They're incredibly important. I don't post episodes for fun, okay? I post them because they're really important for you to understand, to advance your career and get unstuck, okay? I've been there. So, you have to think about too, when we have things from our past and we haven't taken the time to work through them because we're like, we got to keep going through life. We have to keep making the money. We have to keep like all these things. We can't stop. My boss is saying this. My boss is saying that. And my employees have to do this. My employees have to do that. Like, you got to take the time. Take it from someone who never wanted to take the time. I never had the time because I always had things to do. Raise your hand if you're like that. Okay. So what happens is, we end up in this mode then of, we can call it survival, right? That we just need to get through the day, and that's not enjoying life, and nor is it sustainable, okay? So I'm here to help you. I'm not here to condemn you in any way. We've all been there or are there, okay? But we can also put ourselves in our own burnout cycle when everything's okay. You're like, what? Yep, those limiting beliefs. Many of us were raised, and right or wrong, but think about it. This is why I'm saying think about these things. Many of us were raised to be independent, not ask for help, and like hustle, right? That mentality. And people around us, here's the thing, is people around us literally were telling us that they can take something off our plates, and we're denying them. So we're putting ourselves in that cycle because we're trying to do it ourselves so we can look good. And that's not your fault. But if you're recognizing that, now you have the responsibility. That all stems from childhood, and we won't go into that on this episode, but it's something just to think about, like, why am I trying to achieve so much? Why am I trying to check 100 things off the to-do list every day? Okay, that's not what you're originally designed for. That's the environment you grew up in, okay, for whatever reason. And we can uncover that in other episodes, all right? Professionally speaking, burnout, it comes from having too much on your plate. You're not valued, okay? Having that imposter syndrome. You're feeling like you're not a part of the team. You're not utilizing your strengths like I just talked about, okay? And then let's say personally, a mom is physically not getting rest, or dad being at home and dealing with all the emotions and then not having stimulating adult conversations. That leads to burnout. We have to take care of ourselves. It's not just about self-care of massages and hair and nails and golfing and all that type of stuff. That's not what self-care truly is, okay? Stress, as we've talked about, is good. But guys, your body and your mind were not meant to have those stressors for long periods of time, okay? They weren't. And I've seen so much over the years, two things with professionals in burnout. Ready for them? Unresolved trauma and career mismatch. Should I just end the episode now? No. But today, I'm, like I said earlier, I don't want to talk about the unresolved trauma in this episode. I want to talk about the career mismatch, because so many of you are like, I need a job, or I need out of this company. It's toxic and blah, blah, blah. And I want you to evaluate, like, is it really the culture is toxic? Is it really you're in misalignment with your own career? We're going to go over this stuff, okay? So let me share an example. It might be far-fetched, but we know what burnout is. Let me step back here. We know what burnout is. We talked about it. Career mismatch or career misalignment is basically, it's a gap showing where the change needs to be. Okay, and I've seen over all these years that they go together, burnout and career mismatch or career misalignment. Okay, so let me share an example. Like I said, it might be far-fetched, but you'll get the picture. All right. Maybe you love being creative. You're like, I love art. Oh my goodness, I was not a graphic designer or anything like that, but I love art. Oh my goodness, I love creating things for companies to be able to use. And I've tried it. I presented things to my bosses and all this type of stuff, and I can create beautiful things for them. And I'm excited about it. I'm passionate about it. This is what's my God-given, passion is right now. But you're in an accounting role where you deal with numbers all day. Kind of seems like a mismatch, right? Okay, now I'm not saying that you can't be like an accountant and have creative hobbies. You should. You should be exercising both sides of the brain. For example, I play piano. Okay, and I've been playing piano for over 35 years. And it is something that allows my creativity to flow. I do a lot of art and painting and stuff too, but I'm also very analytical as well. Okay, so there's many different things that you can do. Okay, so, but you're going to feel burnout if you're like, I have this creative passion. Oh my goodness, I have this creative passion. And sorry, my Instapot is going off in the background. Let's just be real. We're all at home. Okay. It wasn't supposed to go off right now, but good thing it did. But here's the thing is you're going to feel burnout. You're going to feel fatigued. You're going to feel cynical. You're not valued because you have a mismatch, because you value being part of a team, and that's making an impact creatively. And I'm not saying accountants can't be creative. Okay. I'm just, like I said, this is a far-fetched example, but what the thing is if you are trying to make an impact creatively and you're stuck looking at numbers all day, that mismatch is going to perpetuate the physical and the mental and the most emotional exhaustion. Do you get that? Does it make sense? Okay. Gallup is a great research company, and they did a study that was talking about burned out employees. Listen to these numbers. Here, let me pull this up here. 63% are more likely to take a sick day if they're burned out. And those burned out employees are a little over 2.5 times more likely to be job searching. If I'm someone who's running an organization, or if I'm a manager, and I hear those numbers and I look at the number of employees I have and apply those numbers, and I'm like, oh crap, I could have 5 or 10 or 20 employees taking a sick day and maybe on those sick days looking for a new job. That's not good. Right? But when you think about it, you're like, that makes sense. If there's an employee that's burned out, or employees that are burned out, they're frustrated, they're not undervalued, they're not valued, they're undervalued, right? Do they want to go back to a place that's burning them out? Not me. I remember being in that, and I'll talk about that later, but so yeah, they're more likely to be taking sick days because they're going to be recovering just enough to be able to go back. They're going to be looking for a new job. And to be honest, good for them. If you here's a note to managers, okay, and business owners and leaders out there, okay? Regularly check in. And I mean by regularly, not like your once a quarter or your biannual, okay, reviews. I mean every week you are checking in with your employees. I know it's annoying. I know it takes time. I know you might get the same answer for weeks on end, but you do that on a regular basis. One of the times, someone's going to say something, and that's your opportunity to fix it. And as business owners and as managers and as leaders in organizations, what are we good at? We are good at solving complex problems, right? That's why we're in the roles that we're in, okay? So think about that. Open up that honest communication. You're going to find they're going to share so much more about what they like and what they don't like. And when you listen and address the things that are burning them out, or what the things that they don't like, you get to keep valuable employees. And guess what, guys? The hiring process is expensive. You're going to spend less time looking for new employees and save that money, okay? Save the frustration, okay? Or, man, you working overtime because you're having to fill that role, or another employee leaving because they had to take over that person's responsibilities too that just left for being burned out. See how it just compounds? And I know you guys know this, but it is worth repeating this. And it's saying it out loud, okay? I remember as being a manager in many organizations that, my goodness, when I was a plant manager, I would walk the floor every single morning after our morning meeting. At first, people thought it was odd because no one had done that before in my position. And it was annoying, and people would share, oh yeah, how was your weekend? Oh, blah, blah, blah. And hey, some of the minor stuff, okay. But then every once in a while, some big things did come up. Like, hey, I'm frustrated with so-and-so. Hey, I don't like this department anymore. I think I'd be a better fit over here. I'll leave if I don't get, I've heard this before, I'll leave if I don't get put in a different department. I can't work with this person anymore. Okay? Those are really, really things that we need to be aware of as leaders. Okay, so if you're feeling misaligned and getting burned out, guess what? It is your responsibility. Okay, no one else's. It is your responsibility. Let's say you are the employee, to say something to your manager or to HR or to start your job search. Okay, a big thing, I was talking to a recruiter earlier today, and he was saying the biggest thing is like communication by employees, by companies, by recruiters. Like, people are not communicating, and then they wonder why they're having these long job searches. They're not getting qualified candidates because the job postings that they have are not communicating things well, because they're not taking the time to do it. And then the time to hire is, 2 months. It's ridiculous. And then people aren't saying things when they're in the roles that they like or don't like. It's a mess. It is such a mess, guys. And it all starts with you. You can be the difference. Okay? You can open up your mouth and say something. Not everyone's going to like it sometimes. You might be scared out of your mind. You might have heart palpitations because it's the first time, because of your unresolved trauma in childhood, that you are stepping up and saying something, and someone's maybe not going to physically beat you. Right? That's reality. Some people are afraid to say something because as a child, they got beat and carried it on into their adult life. Okay? I told you I'm here to be honest. Okay, we hide these things, these hidden obstacles that I've been talking about this past year. Like, we got to stop hiding them. Okay, so anyways, you got to think about too. If you don't do those things, you don't take responsibility for your own career and start speaking up and speaking out in a very professional manner, by the way. Okay, guess what? That misalignment and that burnout then is costing you your life. Not trying to be dramatic here, but that's reality, okay? Your mental health is screwed up with all those intrusive thoughts and the anxiety and the worry of like, am I going to get laid off? Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, am I going to be able to land this interview? Oh my God, like all that stuff, okay? That's your mental health. Then you got the emotional health, is feeling all those feelings. Getting angry, getting upset, getting sad, getting like all the wheel of emotions, guys, okay? Look up the wheel of emotions, by the way. You need to feel all the feelings, okay? Then your physical health goes nuts with the gut issues, the headaches, the insomnia, the inability to digest foods properly, get all your nutrients that you need. And then you're eating things that are not good for you because who cares anymore? I just want something that goes in my mouth and something that makes me feel good. See what I mean? The nasty cycle, over and over and over. I was actually talking to people this week too when I was doing some marketing for a new program that I have coming out. And they were saying, I do a really good job of keeping my professional life and my personal life separate. Guys, I think I've said this before in episodes, and if you haven't, I'm going to say it again, and I'll keep saying it. They're intertwined. I'm not saying bring your drama in from either place, but what I am saying is you're going to have things that impact both, okay? Just like our bodies, our systems, our mental, our physical, our emotional health are not separate. Our digestive system is not separate from our limbic system, is not separate from our reproductive system, is not separate from all the things. You get it? Okay? It all works together to make us who we are. Right? Don't separate them. Okay? Be wise about what you share in the different situations, of course. Okay? But here's the thing is, then you've got your brain that's affected. Guys, our brain is so precious, so incredibly precious. And when it's inflamed, or you have that brain fog and you have that lack of energy, guys, it's inflamed from the bad thoughts and the bad foods, and the cycle continues until you decide to break it. No employer or manager is going to come up to you, or recruiter or anyone else, and just walk right up to you or call you or come knocking on your door and say, you know what? You're burned out and here's how I'm going to help you. No. I mean, if you start sharing and talking about it, of course people are going to help you. Let's hope, kind human beings, let's do that out there, okay? But no one's going to do it for you. And sometimes this is the hardest part. And guys, I've been there, and it is hard sometimes, and sometimes it's hard for a long time, but I'm telling you, as you start to see the light at the end of the tunnel, as you start to feel differently and things in your environments are changing because of what you have changed inside of you, I'm telling you, it makes all the difference. It really does, okay? Your job, guys, should not make you feel like, or your career path should not make you feel like you have to take days off just to survive, okay? The next set of however many days. That's a lose-lose situation. We don't like lose-lose situations, okay? But when people at companies, they are valued, okay? When they're valued, when they're engaged, when their productivity just soars and they feel like they're ready to make this massive impact, guys, that's a win-win. When they want to learn. I'm going to tell you this, and I'll probably post about it or maybe even talk about it next week or the week after, but like, guys, a resume is great. I love writing resumes for people. I love making them feel confident and stuff. But that's only a list of things that you have accomplished or were able to accomplish. Your attitude means more than that. I actually did when I was at my second job ever. They asked me the first week that I was there, can you come speak at a luncheon of executives? I mean, I was in my early 20s. A luncheon of executives on attitude. And I was like, what? Apparently they really liked my attitude because, right, we have these things that happen to us, circumstances in our lives that happen to us, and I actually wasn't going to talk about this, but now I am. 10% of what happens to us. 90% is how we respond or react, right? A positive or negative way we respond or react, okay? That's all it is, and I know sometimes it's hard. I know, okay? I'm a mom of 3 boys. I know how hard it is to respond kindly or take a breath, okay? Or when you're in the workforce and you've got someone who is up your butt all day. Some of you salespeople, I love you dearly, but you could be up our butts all day. Like, you have to respond in a manner that people are going to respect you, that you're not going to end up in the burnout cycle, right? It's that there is a win-win, okay? And here's the thing too, is instead of using your sick days and your PTO days for days to just recover and recoup, how cool would it be to use those days to do something that's rewarding? What about taking a day off to take your kid out? Because you value them. I'm going to start crying. What about taking a day off or a few days off to go on a vacation that your family has been planning for, to really just enjoy life, enjoy God's creations? Maybe just to have a mental health day and just to sit and read. Maybe you wanted to take a yoga class, like a hot yoga class in the middle of the day, or a biking class or whatever it is in the middle of the day, and you weren't able to before, but because you are confident in your career and you don't have that burnout and you're actually in alignment, that you're able to take those days and use them in a better way. How cool would that be? I think that'd be pretty cool. Okay? All right? It's much more fulfilling. So don't stay in a job where you call out just because you can't, or you call out. Don't stay in a job where you call off just because you can't do it today. And it's sad because I see so many professionals do that. Or they I have all these PTO days and I can't take off. I'm just so busy and I'm so needed, basically. Let's just say that. I'm needed. Guys, I love to hate to say this, anyone can be replaced in a job. You as a person, do you want someone when they're at your funeral to say, my goodness, they died of a heart attack. They worked all the time. I barely saw them. Yeah, they did great things at the company, but their life was work. Or they weren't happy in their job, and that's probably why they died. Sorry to be a Debbie Downer, guys, but this is true, okay? So you want to address this. You're like, thanks, Vanessa. Don't end on such a sad note, right? Here's some practical ways that you can address burnout. We'll start with burnout, okay? Go to your HR team. Talk about it. And if you don't like your HR team, you don't feel comfortable with them, go to a manager that you do appreciate. Talk to them, okay? A lot of times they have resources that they don't advertise until these situations come up with, which that's a whole nother situation there. Okay, we'll talk about some other time. But they have health professionals they can connect you to now. There's tons of virtual visits you can do. There's counseling to work on boundaries and maybe how to communicate. You can talk to them about how to lighten your workload, or you can create a plan to recover from the burnout. And a lot of that too is, you can do things like take FMLA, short-term disability, so that you actually can recover. Because, from a physical health standpoint, because I'm a board certified holistic health practitioner, there's a lot of things that your body does when it's in burnout for a long time. And it does take a little bit to uncover that, unpack it, and really release the stress that your body's been under. Okay. So if you're able to do that and you have that resource to you, please, 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 please use it. Okay. And then at the same time, HRO know there's an issue. If you're like, oh my gosh, this position is blah, right? Like it is just a nightmare, then they can take some actions on that. They can bring it to their boss or to other managers and say, there's an issue here, guys. All right. And they can do it in a confidential manner too. Okay. So, and the second thing is to prioritize your health, right? We talk about this all the time. All the past episodes, we've gone over the very specific things. So take a look at those. Okay. And women, guys, struggle with this more. Okay. Saying it from a personal standpoint, professional standpoint, studies all over, because we're caretakers. We tend to take more on, and we feel like, because a lot of the higher executive roles are dominated by men still to this day, okay? And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but I'm saying that a lot of times women still feel like that they need to be seen and recognized in order to get promotions, in order to get a job, and in order to keep a job type thing, okay? And the problem is you aren't able to, when you are so burnt out and you're not prioritizing your health, is that you aren't there, or you're not able to do things for people at the company and the organization, for your employees, if you're not there because you're sick, because you've just been so overwhelmed and so burned out. Okay. So this is that old saying, right? Put your oxygen mask on first. It's not selfish. I've had to say this to myself so many times over the years. It's not selfish. Okay. We need you. All right. Third thing, take a break. All right. I had to do this when at my last corporate job, I was traveling 3 weeks out of every month. I took a sabbatical. I said, guys, I can't be traveling this much. I was planning a 3-month sabbatical. 2 months in, we got pregnant. So, okay, that ended that. But, we decided to end that. But I was traveling so much across the country and all the time zones and things like that. And it was fun for the first few months. And then, you do a year of that and you're like, oh my gosh, this is too much. And then it's like you're living out of a suitcase and all the things. Not fun. Okay. Then the fourth thing is get a support team. Okay. And this can be professionally. I recommend professionally and personally combining them. Okay. Get a mental health professional on your team, get a spouse, close friend, mentor at work, and leverage the people around you. Let them hold you accountable. Like when they see you're heading towards burnout, that you trust them and you take it from them, right? There's sometimes we're like, husband, don't tell me, what to do or how to feel or type things. But you know what? You really need that. Okay. We all do. You can't do it yourself. You can't. We weren't designed for that. Okay. And it can help lessen some of the feelings that you're dealing with by talking to those people and saying, my goodness, this is what I'm going through. Okay. I know it's helped me. It's helped a lot of my clients over the years. It is huge. It doesn't make you less of a person. Doesn't make you weak. It actually makes you stronger. Okay. Burnout, the thing is, we want to have a team. So the other thing I wanted to bring up is we want to have a team, because burnout sneaks up on us. It's not something that we just wake up with. It's not a condition that just happens overnight, which, by the way, the conditions that we get health-wise don't happen overnight. Okay. They seem like it because the last straw happens overnight. Okay. Many of us, again, were raised to do things independently. Okay. So let's work together. We're a team. Okay. Everyone's a team. All right. Now, I want to give you some ways, now that we dealt with burnout, okay, some ways to deal with career misalignment. You're like, yes, this is what I was actually looking for, Vanessa. Okay. The first thing is self-assessment. List out your goals, who you are. Get clarity on what you genuinely want for your career. I ask clients this all the time. They're like, I want more salary. I want more days off. I want better benefits. I'm like, okay, those are good. But what do you want to feel When you go into work every day, what do you want to feel Monday morning? What do you want to feel Friday afternoon? Or maybe Friday morning, right? What do you want to feel? And then, like, what do you like most about your career right now? Seriously. I mean, there's aspects that you like, right? Maybe the coffee they serve, but like, what do you like about it? And then you work together on figuring out like what career, like, and I say work together, if you decide to work with me or with other career coach or whoever it is, a mentor, okay, but like work together on figuring out which careers might align with the things that you like. Take time to do this, okay? It's so important. Just because you got a degree in X doesn't mean you have to do X the rest of your life. Just because you had a job title of Y for 15 years doesn't mean you need to continue with that job title, that career path, okay? You have the right to change. There's no rule book, okay? There's no law. Too many of you guys are out there, and here I am going my soapbox again, like, too many of you guys are out there like, I am in, let's see, hold on, like, think of one right now. I've been in sales rep and account executive. Like, that's what I'm looking for. Are you sure? Is that what you want? Is that really what you want? Is that really who you are? And it might be yes, absolutely. But it also might be like, maybe not, right? So I want you to close your eyes, take time, seriously, like cut out an hour each week, maybe an hour a couple times a week. Sometimes I have people do. And visualize, like, what do I want to feel? What do I really like? What does that next career move look like? Okay? Guys, there's a reason top athletes do this, right? They practice visualization because when it's in your mind, your body feels it and then you can achieve it, right? Okay, our minds are amazing if we guide them on how to do their job, okay? And then the second thing is, well, I guess a part of the first thing actually is to take a look at what you visualized or dreamed and compare it to what you're doing now. Okay? Is that on the path? Is what you're doing now on the path to get you to that next step that you visualized? Okay? There's no right or wrong answer. All right? All right, there's no right or wrong answer. And then the next thing is now we can identify that gap. Okay, we've got that gap. We're like, okay, maybe it's not on the path. Okay? The specific aspects that need to change, the company, the role, the department, the industry, the location. Okay, I was doing market research again, like I said, the past couple of weeks, and I was talking with a few professionals that were in similar situations. They had done well in the industry, roles over the years, okay, and now they want to do something different. And a few of them really did take the time to map out the steps that they thought they needed to do and to take. And they were actually really good steps. I'm like, wow, I am so proud of you. Like, that's amazing. And I'm just doing market research. I'm just asking some questions of people. And then a few of them were like, we're kind of stuck. Like, this is where I want to be. This is what I want to feel, but I don't know how to get there. And that's okay too. All right. They knew that if their dream career, we'll call it, was in reach, like they didn't know what they had to do or keep doing or stop doing, because they had done something for so long and just like, okay, I'll just stick with this, what I know, and why change? It's really hard to change, right? And then the final step is find someone to help you. You know, like I said, if it's myself or it's someone else, I have a bunch of other career coaches and recruiters and, you know, professionals that I work with too that, hey, maybe you don't resonate with my personality. That's fine. I'm not hurt, okay? I'm not hurt, all right? But I've spoken to hundreds of professionals, and the burnout, guys, is huge. It is a huge aspect, okay? And a lot of you don't stop and don't realize it until like a health condition has taken you over, or you've gotten laid off, or a spouse is like, I'm going to leave you because. Like, don't wait for that. Please don't wait for that, all right? I have found that everyone is really good at their job, okay? There are so many people that work so hard and do so well, but few are really good at figuring out what's keeping them stuck and how to advance to the next step, because they don't teach you that in your job. They teach you how to do your job, right? Let's be honest, that's not their responsibility, okay? Heck, they don't even teach that in school, right? In college courses or anything like that, or even MBAs, they don't teach you how to do that, okay? They're just like, here. Or they give you, or if you're guidance counselor or something in high school or college, it's like, here's a resume template. Good luck. Here's a cover letter template. Just start applying. Have fun. Just fill out what you've done. And guys, Like I said, resumes are good at collecting your information from over the years and the accolades that you've done. We absolutely need to see those, but it doesn't show what you're capable of doing. Okay, it doesn't show the attitude that you have. That's why I say networking is huge. That's why I say don't be using all your time to apply to job boards. Okay, I want you to go ahead and utilize your time elsewhere. And we talk a lot about that in my coaching program, okay? A lot about that. And we have great success with people following the steps in the process, okay? And you want to hire a coach because they're an expert, okay? And it reduces the time it takes to uncover those hidden obstacles and to get you to that next step, okay? Yes, some of you could do it yourself, but you're already very busy professionals. You already have lives outside of work. Let someone help you, okay? Like I said, whether it's me or someone else, link to book a call is in the show notes, so you can go ahead and take a look at that for sure. But the most important thing I want to address, and I have in so many episodes, is the burnout, okay? It's harder to recover from burnout than is career misalignment. Putting them together is a bomb, okay? It's a bomb. The mental, the physical, the emotional aspect that burnout negatively affects, oh my gosh, it's just, you need all those areas of health to be successful in your career. You need all of those to be successful in your family. You need all of those to have success in your community, in life, okay? So take the time, okay? Time is a commodity. It's so incredibly important, okay? And here's the thing is, if mental or emotional health is an issue for you, depression, anxiety, overwhelm, trauma, okay, as we call it, nervous system dysregulation, okay, don't be afraid to talk to someone about it. I never thought I had it for years. And I'm sure many of you are like, yeah, I'm good. I might have had a rough childhood, or I had an okay childhood, or whatever. I had someone die in my family and I'm over it now. Okay. Don't be afraid to talk to someone about it, and don't be afraid of the world's stigma around it. Okay? Please don't. There's only one you that's ever here to walk the earth in this time with your skill set, with your experience. Don't push aside health because you want to have a certain level of success in your career. You matter. You really do. Your inner state is vital to your career success and your peace. And don't wait, again, like I said, until something bad happens. Okay? Start now. You are the architect of your career and your life. Own it. Your career aspirations and dreams are within reach. Your physical health is the foundation upon which they can be realized. Make wellness a priority. Watch it as it transforms your path to success. So, if you are ready, okay, to advance your career by removing blocks that are keeping you stuck, click the link in the show notes, get on a call, reach out via social media, comment on any of the posts that I'm putting out there for this type of stuff for the podcast. I don't care, okay? Somehow reach out to me, okay? And I will find a solution for you that is best for you, okay? So stay tuned until next time, our next episode on designing the best you.